fantastic Amy Lawrence from Seattle, soon to be in Idaho. Welcome to the show, Amy.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, no, I really had a really good chat before actually to Amy, and we're going to talk about blogging. And I know a lot of people's eyes glaze over when we talk about blogging, but it really is a really effective way to, I guess, start a business, build up a fan base, and all of that stuff. And Amy's done it in a very competitive niche, which is a kind of healthy food, healthy living niche. And I hear people say that it's not possible to do. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what you have built up online and how you got into blogging, how long it took, some of the things that were hard, what worked and what didn't work?
Sure. So I got into blogging kind of by accident. I had a tea room and tea shop earlier, and everything was going great with that business. And then in 2014, I had a Pilates accident and tore my vertebral artery in my neck, which caused a stroke. And after that, I just decided I didn't want to do that anymore, and I was happy to be alive. So I ate a lot, and I gained about 40 pounds. And I took a look, and I'm like, oh, I got to do something about this. And so I joined Weight Watchers, and I started eating healthier. And but their recipes were boring and bland, and I just didn't like them. And I had, with my tea room, I had done cookbooks and created my own recipes. And so I decided I could do healthy recipes. So I started Healthy Recipes, and I decided to start a blog. So that's how my Gourmet Done Skinny blog was born. And I started with, I had quite a few recipes before I went live. I had to learn everything from scratch. I did not know how to use a camera at all. And all my photography is mine. So you can kind of see the progression if you look at some of my older recipes. But I've learned everything from SEO to marketing. Just it's amazing all the different things that you go through when you're a blogger. People think you just, slap up a recipe, but there's a lot that goes into the research of the recipe. You need to make sure people know how to make it and it turns out for them. There's like nutritional calculation you have to do. There's all the SEO research you have to do, not to mention all the social media, which is not my favorite thing, I have to say. I have farmed out social media now, so.
That's
But
good.
yes, definitely. There's lots of parts for sure. And then I got into video not too long ago. So yeah, so it's been quite a ride, that's for sure.
And the other thing you did was that, when you start a blog, there's that kind of awkwardness of like you do one post and you've got this post with just one thing on it, and it's a little bit embarrassing, I guess, when you're starting out. But you didn't do that. What you did was, how long did you spend getting all of the content ready before you actually published anything?
I spent about a year, which they don't actually recommend. I mean, when you talk to other bloggers, they really say just get up and get moving and get going. But I just didn't want somebody to come to my blog and see that there's one recipe on there. So, and I needed to learn I didn't know how to use WordPress. I didn't know how to use a lot of things. And so I waited about a year and took my time and really worked on things. And for me, that's the way I like to do things. So research first.
That's very good because the good thing is that you actually were that serious about it. That a lot of people start blogs and don't finish them, but if you're that serious that you're actually writing a before you even building all the content up, and when you started publishing, you're doing about one post a week. You told me, how long did it take you? I mean, you're thinking this is a waste of time. How long did it take you before you started to think, oh, hang on a minute, this is working?
I would say it took a good 3 years. Blogging takes a while.
Yeah.
And get up your page views. You need so many to get into the different ad, companies. And I was really happy when I got into, I was hoping to get into like Mediavine, but just right when I almost hit 25,000 page views a month, they changed it to 50,000. And so I ended up
My
going with another
goodness.
company. Yeah, so I was very disappointed. But since I've kind of slacked off, not slacked off, but I've decided not to do the ads for a while. I'm really just want to build up my clientele, my page views. I've got a new book out and I've got a new membership. And so I'm kind of working on more of that, more products, and the ad revenue, will probably come back later, but right now I'm focusing on products for my
I
blog.
think it's better to sell Amy Lawrence than somebody else's products or things,
Yes.
don't you think, Amy? Yeah.
Yes,
And
I'm a big believer about that with my cookbook. So over the last 20 years, I've had 13 cookbooks that every year I had the tea room, I published a cookbook, and then I published some extra books as well. And once you write a book, it just makes money for you. And even though those books are so old, they have no pictures, a lot of them, I still get a check every month from Lightning Source for my books. So I encourage anybody who's thinking about developing a product or a book, definitely that is the way to go, because I think I've made over $500,000 over 20 years with all of my different books. So it's definitely your own products are best.
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. And it's great self-branding as well, positioning you as an expert. And there's just so many things you can do. And you can just self-publish on Amazon if you can't afford to get a publisher and all of that good stuff. And so now you've been doing this for 5 years and you've built up an email list. And how has that helped you?
Oh, definitely. And it's interesting because from my other business, I still had raving fans that did carry over to this new one, even though the tea stuff was all about fat and sugar and not healthy recipes. And what I do now is healthy recipes. I mean, once you build your fan base, they will come over. And even though that's kind of a steep, that's a very different category, I still had raving fans. So the main thing I think you really need to remember is to take care of your customers no matter what. And before I had this blogging business, when I had the tea business, I didn't know anything about marketing. It was before we did a lot of internet and all that. And I just knew I wanted my customers to feel like how I would want to be served. And that's how I based everything I did for the tea room. And that's how I'm doing things now. I mean, now you read about all the stuff, your avatars and all that, but you really think about what the customer wants and how the customer feels. And that has gotten me a lot of mileage for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. And tell us about your book. Have you got the book there? Can you show us the book?
Yeah, I do have the book there. Yeah, it's called The Power of Food Prep. And it is, I'll tell you a little bit how it started. I was in this weight loss group because after Weight Watchers, I don't know, I wasn't excited about it too much anymore. And I wanted something, more me. I didn't want to count points. I didn't want to count calories, all that stuff. And so I joined another group called Weight Loss Made Real. And she talks more about, Cookie Rosenblum talks more about intuitive eating and natural eating. And so like you only eat when you're hungry and you stop when you're full. And I really like that idea. So you can eat whatever you want. And so she asked me one day to do a bonus call for her members on food prep. And I thought, I can do that. And so I did. And I didn't think my ideas were that extraordinary, but apparently her members did. And that's how the idea for the book was born. So it talks about my method of how I do food prep. I do it in a very different way than other people. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and you've got like a community that you've built, and people can connect with you. And what's the website that people should go to? How do people connect with you? And
so if you go to gourmetdoneskinny.com, that's my website, and my membership is called Food Prep for Foodies, and then my new book is called The Power of Food Prep, and that's on Amazon, and it got #1 bestseller in 18 categories and international last week. So I'm very excited.
Oh, that's fantastic, Amy. And I'll just put your URL on there. So it's gourmetdoneskinny.com. It doesn't really fit, but you get the idea. And you've got a membership as well. What happens in the membership?
So the membership, I teach you. Oh, I think I lost you for a minute there. Okay. The membership teaches you how to how to use all the different equipment, which there isn't too much. And then I walk you through my my method of Gourmet Done Skinny meal method on how to food prep. And then I have recipes, and we have recipes, and I have videos and all sorts of things that I help you with every month.
Awesome. Wow, you got a lot going on. You sound busy, Amy.
Yes.
Well, that's great. And I'd like to thank you for coming on. Thanks for talking about all that stuff. And the blogging is really important. And the other takeaway is writing a book. You need to write a book. I recommend that everybody does that. I've only done one book, but I'm going to do a few more. It just wiped me out. It was so hard to do. But
it's a lot of work, but it makes you very credible. I mean, it's definitely good to do it.
Definitely good. Yeah, awesome. Well, yeah, wish you success with the book. Thanks for coming on the show, Amy Lawrence.
Thank you. Have a great one.
Wonderful. Thanks for listening and watching, everyone. I'm going to wrap it up. See you very soon on another episode. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you.